Hello and welcome everyone to a new Let's Play with me, Dwarf Pete. So the other day, I was watching Poi Wee Mew's Saranvar campaign, and I thought it would be interesting to see the orc formable in contrast to his elf campaign. And then started researching nations to be able to do this run with, and to my surprise, I found a nation called Blackmoon. Conventional knowledge would tell you to pick Silvertusk, but today we're going to be going with Blackmoon because of something that makes this nation perfectly balanced. And sometimes in EU4, you find a nation so busted that you can do pretty much whatever you want with it and still make up your own story. And so today, we're going to do that with Blackmoon. And let's just go ahead and hit play, and I'll show exactly why this nation is so extremely broken. And so I'm going to go ahead and say my goals for this campaign. And the goals are, 1, to become a Lich and obtain Legendary in all schools of magic. 2, to reclaim the forests for the people of the Fae. And 3, to basically do whatever I want. And so you can see, we start with a powerful mage. And you're thinking, oh boy, this can't get any better now, can it? Well, actually it can, because this mage is one that doesn't start. It has his magic randomly generated. And you can do quite a bit with the magic in Anbennar. And if you don't know, when a ruler gets his magic, it generates at the start of the year. And so we'll see, this guy, or this particular iteration of Blackmoon, gets talented in Divination, Enchantment, Evocation, and Illusion. And he could cast quite a few number of spells with that, but I rolled one of these Blackmoons earlier today that had a very interesting combination. And that Blackmoon came with these stats.
Oh my!
Legendary in Abjuration and Divination, and then talented in Conjuration and Transmutation. So you might be thinking to yourself, what is so overpowered about Divination? Divination grants you access to a spell called Lore Seeker, which increases your magical study experience by 100 with a cooldown of 1 month. And so the general breakdown is that it takes 1,000 to go from proficient to talented in any one school. Then it takes 1,500 XP to go from talented to renowned, which I don't have a current talent at. And then it takes 2,000 to go from renowned, which is level 2, to legendary, which will unlock the most powerful spells available to that class of magic. And so Divination, for example, gets access to the Foresight spell, which you pay 450 mana points, which is quite a bit, but for 1 year, you get 33% all power costs, which is nuts! You can imagine situations where you'd want to take tech, and of course you've got 50% penalty, so you just decide to take Foresight, and bada bing bada boom, you've only got a 16% penalty. It's nuts! Now the Lore Seeker itself is so powerful because it allows you to ramp up your study of magic. Typically it would take you about 40 years or so to go from proficient to legendary in any one school. And that's the difficulty with becoming a necromantic lich, is that typically your ruler isn't going to live that long. With the powerful mage ruler trait, you can expect your monarch to live on average to the ripe old age of 75, whereas before they'd probably live to 65 or 60. And one caveat I would like to mention here, for anybody attempting to do a Lich run, or really any type of magical studies run, is whatever you do, do not click this button. If you don't know, in EU4, generals on average do not live past 15 years after they've become a general. And that's simply due to a different... every month a roll is made, think of a dice roll, is made on whether your ruler dies, and then a separate roll is made for generals on whether they die. And so generals that our rulers essentially have two roles whether they die. So rulers that are generals die very quick. And that's why you should never click the button if you're trying to become a Lich, because you need to live about 40 years to become one. However, with Divination, we can do that quite easily. So you might be wondering, well, what's since I've got Abjuration, what is the other legendary one? And so we can get this absurd modifier, which is every province with a land connection to the capital, so that's basically everything in here, gets 75% movement speed. We also have this one, which gives 5 attrition for enemies, so putting it to the cap, and 75% movement speed negative for them. That's absurd! We can also get just a flat 25% defensiveness for the entire country. And so, what we are going to do today is reconquer finish the Greentide and conquer the Deepwoods back from the elves. And typically the general strategy is to just rush for EU4 and try and get the gold mine, because that's going to power your economy going forward. And I will go ahead and recruit a general, and we get that's actually really good, Narug. A 411. That's pretty nuts. And we'll just go ahead for Native Uprising. So one thing I have to keep in mind to keep doing is keep clicking this button to remember to get a ruler to become a Lich. And we're going to just go ahead and get right into this, because we're going to need lots of money to become a Lich. When in doubt, to become a Lich, you always pick the most expensive thing you... Oh my goodness. Moog the Smart? You are not smart, but you have tons of shock buffs. And shock at this phase of the game is also the most powerful. And on top of that, we have Orcish Military, which gives us 20% manpower modifier, 10% recovery speed. Our artillery kind of sucks. We don't really have a ton of siege ability, because we're too busy looting the land. But we do get a ton of army tradition from battles, and we also deal 25% extra shock. That is nuts in the early game. It also makes cavalry also absurd. And I'll have to remember to do all of this. Okay, and so our goal here is just not to take too much, as I'm already forgetting to lore seek. But that should be fine. And Divination, of course. Click it again. And we're already 400 into our studies, which is nuts. We do take up a really bad battle here, though, so we're just going to retreat. And we actually have the money to go a little bit over, so we will. And we'll take a little bit of prestige. Take a little bit of money, and more shock damage. And continuously remember to keep casting. Lore Seeker. And probably by the end of today, we're going to be at all renowned, if not legendary. That's how powerful Lore Seeker is. And we'll just have to remember to get another month tech so we can get the morale tech. And we'll go ahead and stack wipe. Another stack wipe would be nice. And they put the 6-shot guy in charge. Yep, that's another stack wipe. One thing we'll make sure to do is siege down all his lands so he can't spawn anybody. There's 700 magic. And some really not good battles to begin. And we'll just go ahead and get everybody we can. And we might as well cost the Abjuration, making it so they can barely travel through our lands. And I might as well actually pick up a discipline person, because why not? And we'll just go ahead and put on the Defensiveness Edict. Ooh, some free stability. That's excellent. They're going to arrive there after the month tech, which is also really good. And let's see if there's anything we can get in Divination. I remember one of these also gives military buffs. I think that's enchantment. Let's remember to put... Yep. And so that was a tough fight. All because I'm super excited to show this Let's Play off. And there we go, there is 1,000 in Necromancy. Now we could go ahead and start draining our subjects with the life drain ability, but yeah, why not? What's the worst that could happen? And we'll just go ahead and station some troops here so this doesn't happen again. And we're just going to do slow and steady wins the race here. Oh, and one thing I do need to remember to do is get started studying Necromancy again. And if you get the chance, always choose the money, because it expires faster, and that allows you to get more events in. So he's coming back with how much? 9k, oh boy. We gotta wrap this war up quick. And he'll get there on the 12th, I'll get there on the 12th. Oh boy. Okay, nice. We smashed his army. Orcs smashed. That is their destiny. And we have to quick rush over to the Gladeways, where the battle will commence eventually. And all we want is these 3 provinces so we can get the gold province. And at this point, I'm pretty sure Silent Blade's all out of troops. Yes, he is. We'll go ahead and move off because I really don't want to lose those mercenaries. And it's fine if we take loans here, because we're just going to make it all back as soon as we conquer Silver Tusk. And we just keep casting Divination. And I'll go ahead and just focus Diplomatic, even though we're not going to need it. And just keep casting Lore Seeker. And by this point, Silent Blade is pretty much completely dead. So from him, we will take money, humiliate, and war ups when we get the chance. And I will go ahead and pick up speed. And we will keep doing War Master. And we could cast Siege Magic. What? Actually... yeah. And so we just conjured an elemental near his capital, and if we can capture it, we won't have to worry about anything going on here. Just capture the capital, please. And we will just hang out on his capital now. With our 17-day siege ticks. Hopefully we can get rid of him by then. And we will keep going for it. And every month that passes, every month we are closer to our goal. And this is one of the events that can happen that normally gives you magical experience. But we have Lore Seeker. And still his capital doesn't fall. And so we just need to get the 49% siege tech here, if the AI would so graciously... there we go. Awesome. So now let's stack wipe his army, hopefully. Yep. Sweet. And maybe this gets us out of the war? Yes. Cool. We could also get some money for our troubles, and that we will get. And I know an exit when I see one. Let's just get out of this war. There is no reason to stay in it any longer. Speaking of that, though, once more we gotta go back to our War Seeker ways. And we are also going to jump straight into the war with Silver Tusk. Because he is going to be our golden goose for this run. And with any luck, we can get him siege down pretty quick here. We're going to want to finish this guy off, just so. he doesn't have to keep annoying us. And we will go ahead and continue with our studies into Lore Seeker. Awesome. And we can probably just keep this open. And sure, we'll take some army professionalism. That could be useful. And there's an extra 200 from a normal event, but that is also with the fall of the capital, renowned necromancy. And we can see Harpyland coming in here, which this is really good. And maybe I can trick Silvertusk into attacking his capital. There he is, the dummy. And we should be able to beat him in a 1v1 here. Okay. And his troops are going to retreat into my land. And we just want to finish him off. And there we go, that's Silvertusk. Completely 100%ed. We will abandon his colony, because we don't want anybody coming in here, into the forest, that I don't know about. And we're only 400 Diplo in debt, but we will get started on Legendary Necromancy. And we could go ahead and switch over to an undead-based army, however, it's just not that good for us right now, mostly because it's so slow. But I promise later in this Let's Play we will. And so now that we've conquered the Silvertusk orcs, we will rest for a little bit, get some money, and then we're going to go ahead and jump into another war. While we continue to remember to click the button for Lore Seeker, which does get exponentially more expensive as you go up in school levels. Which I guess that does kind of make sense. Graduate school does cost more than undergraduate. Some of you may know more than me. And we'll just let time pass while we continue to rack up the Lore Seeker points. We are going to need our diplomatic power to be regular in order to cast the Lich project itself. So I'm thinking maybe we stop once we hit like 800 dip points, and we can get a dip advisor once we have the Gold Province Horde. And right, we can actually pick... Oh, no, we are saving up for 200 for this event. Harpyland doesn't like us, huh? Well, I think we can change their mind. That is one of the few people we will have an alliance with. And we will go ahead and go even further into debt. Awesome. There is that done. And there is another Lore Seeker. And since we're going into debt, we might as well. Might as well get improved relations. We definitely do not need you. We would rather get a cheaper advisor. And okay. Not 100% though, we need the mercs, but we'll keep them just in case. And I'm thinking we will do one last Lore Seeker here. And we will just let some time pass now that we're negative 900 diplomatic points in the hole. To be fair, we weren't going to get diplomatic time, diplomatic tech anytime soon. And so this will be ready by the 10th of this year. Okay. And we can turn it up to speed 5 for just a little bit. And we can see Verminhusk doesn't have huge allies, so they most likely will be our next target. And awesome, there is EU4. And we're just going to go ahead and make that the capital, straight up. Because we need the money from the gold. Like, today. Yesterday. And it looks like Verminhusk is in a war with the Cursed Howl. Ooh. That's not good. Cursed Howl usually becomes pretty big. And we'll go ahead and just do a little bit of rebel busting. And as you can see, we now actually make it a money. A whole 1 or 2 ducat a month, and we can afford level 1 advisors, which gets us off to an amazing start. Okay. So now we have to decide, from here, where do we go? It's a bad idea to attack the elves, just straight up. It's a terrible idea. We could attack the spiked log, because they have no allies. That to me sounds like an excellent idea. And we'll go ahead and stack wipe him right then and there. And fully siege down his land. Speaking of which, land, how goes the courtship of the Harpies? If we can get this above 50, then they stop being hostile, I believe. And very nice. There is the normal event. And our magical studies are progressing quite nicely. And we even get a 4/5/2 air. Oh, wow. Very, very nice. Who am I fighting exactly? Sap Chopper. You want me in a war with literally just you, huh? Interesting. Well, I wonder if I can do this. We can tag it as a province of vital interest, finish our war, and get ready to fight the elves. Oh, it auto declined for. Oh, that's bad. Whoopsies. Nobody said with magic we were going to be trustworthy. Awesome. And there's spiked log 100% killed. And we'll go ahead and start coring all of his land. The more the merrier, of course. And we can even click this button, which just gives us a ton of extra manpower and production in provinces, and extra goods. And excellent. So, with 200 religious power, we can now click a crazy button, which is called Gathering a Great Host. It gives us the ability to go to war and gather troops, which gives us just a free 17,000 manpower. Although it does have the downside that it gives you quite a bit less manpower recovery speed for a few years, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and make the Cursed Howl our enemies, as well as Vermintusk. And what we're also going to do is do something a bit unorthodox, and that's destroy our mill points. And that's so we can click this. The aftermath of the Greentide. After the death of Corgus Dukinson, our clans lost unity and started fighting over pieces of land all over Escann. We need to recover future conflicts. Dang right we do. And we get land force limit and some manpower. Furthermore, if we can get up to level 2 stability, then we can click the next mission. Let's just check. How is our magical studies coming? Currently 1100 out of 2000. We're only age 43, so I think this is an excellent time to call it a wrap for today. Tomorrow, I think we're going to very easily get to Legendary, and after that happens, we'll probably become a Lich in the same episode. And it's just becoming absurd at this point. And oh no, our ally got completely killed. Oh boy. But as always, thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more.